All right, what's going on, everyone? Just want to come on here today and just do a little recap of how the day went. Um, this is the QQQ chart. So I took two trades today on the futures MNQ, and I had one small win and one loss, both with pretty small size. So pretty much almost a break-even day today. I think it was minus 25 bucks per account. My take profit accounts. Um, we can get into it here. So this is kind of how the daily chart looked on the Qs today before the market opened. The level that I was looking at was this 523 from last week's high. If we get above that level, I'd be looking on this daily chart over here, this daily high at 529.07. And if you're going to use these daily highs as targets, you can kind of make them into a little bit of a zone because sometimes even if it is your target, price doesn't always go exactly the penny. Sometimes I'll just get close to it and then reverse. Sometimes I'll go through it a little bit and then reverse, or sometimes I'll just blow right through. But it's good to have an idea of where price could run to, and using these daily candles is a really good guide. So let's zoom in here to the 2-minute chart to see how we did at the open today. Right, they're pumping right now aftermarket. But anyway, so here is where we opened this morning. You can see we had, I'm actually going to change it over to my levels I already had here. So this purple line, that 523 level is last week's high, previous week high. And then we got previous day's high, this blue line here. And then the pre-market low down here. You can zoom in. So right off the open, we ripped up, hit previous week's high, got above it, couldn't stay above it. Couldn't stay above the moving averages, the 15 and the 45. And then we came down to test previous day's high. That was kind of the line in the sand for me of whether or not to take or to stay bullish on the day. Once we dropped below it, these smaller EMAs, the 15 and the 45, crossed bearish here, and they were sloping down. So at that point, I'm also looking at this red line, the 200 EMA. We got below that, retesting the previous day high, and the 200 and the 15 and the 45 are sloping down. So I'm only looking for shorts at this point. Ideally, I wanted to be targeting pre-market low level as the first target. And we had this candle right here where this upper wick closed red. Once I saw that candle reject here, this previous day high level and the 200 EMA, and right near the 15, I always like to try to enter near the 15 if I can. So this looked like a good entry for me. So I took a short right here on the next candle after this one closed. We came up, tested the 15 again. We're kind of having trouble. Every time we make a new low, you can see they're popping it back up pretty hard. That's kind of not a good sign for shorts. Just kind of shows choppier conditions. But if I put SPY on here as well, I'll look at SPY pumping right now. Let me just put this side to side because I like to watch both, right? So SPY did the same thing, came down below previous day's high, testing the 200 here, and it was rolling over. But the SPY was moving better than the Qs were today. You can see, like I said, I got in right here. Put a little, right in that area I got in. The 15 was still being respected, although these new lows on the Qs, they're popping it up hard. You can see SPY was moving a little bit more smoothly, getting a little bit better moves down. But you can see right here on SPY, they touched the pre-market low here on SPY a couple times, right here, right here. So that's a good reason to watch both, because if one is hitting a level and the other one isn't quite to it yet, it could be a good idea to take off some risk, which I didn't do that today. I got a little bit, I guess you could say, greedy I guess I was wanting a little bit too much from the market today than what it was willing to give me. Um, so I didn't take anything off. I only had 2 contracts on. I was aiming for down here at this pre-market low, but since SPY had already hit the pre-market low, I could have been scaling out, on this low here for sure as SPY hit it. You can see the crosshairs lining up on the time there. And then even this one again, but every time the Qs are making that new low, they're popping it up. Barely made a new low, popped it up hard. Barely made a new low, popped it up hard. And this is where I got out after it looked like we tried to roll it over on this 15 EMA here, which it had been rolling over, rolling over. It tried to roll over and then it had this hammer. I got out right here just because I didn't want to let it go red against me. And the conditions were choppy. I kind of missed, a couple opportunities to exit. And I said, oh, well, I'm just going to take it off. I don't want to let it go red. It's been choppy. So that was my first trade. The exit was right there. And then my next trade, I took a long, looking back, not a good trade at all. So we had this move up right here after kind of trapping, looked like we trapped some shorts. This trend line break, and then they popped it up hard. We got the 15 and the 45 crossed here, and we're kind of starting to slope up. But really, it wasn't the kind of slope we had on this drop earlier. And look at how steep that slope is. When you get that steep slope and it gets below the 200 here, that's why I liked the short earlier. We just didn't get the follow through I was hoping for. But on this one, I mean, the slope is very minimal here compared to the steep slope here. So I took a long, I was probably a little bit too zoomed in on the chart for sure. But we bounced off the 15 here and then did it again here. So I took a long here, anticipating that we're going to break above the 200 and come up and at least test this previous day's high. I got long, right in this area after this green candle closed. I got long here. And then my stop was right a little bit below this, underneath the 15 and the 45. I almost got stopped out right here on the futures. It was literally like 1 point away from my stop loss. And it looked like we are going to maybe go up. But again, the conditions not great. I was using small size, so I got stopped out right here when it went right below this candle here. And then they did end up moving it up a bit, but that was it for me. So very small, almost a break-even day for me. Minus $25 for each account. But the main thing here was sizing small and just kind of recognizing the conditions, knowing that we're back inside the previous day's range. When you're in the previous day's range, sometimes if it fakes out above, it can come back into it and then test the other side of it. That's what I was hoping for with the short today. If we would have broke this pre-market low, there's a chance you can go test the previous day's low, but obviously the daily chart is pretty bullish overall, so I was using small size either way. And we were also inside this pre-market range as well, so that's kind of double caution. And then with this price action, we also had FOMC meeting minutes today at 2 o'clock. Then NVIDIA had earnings today after the bell. So it's kind of a risk off type day. I definitely could have been better about scaling out this first trade, being a little tighter with it. The second trade could have been avoided altogether. I would have liked to have seen it at least get above previous day's high, get the EMA sloping a little bit, showing more momentum before taking any longs on a pullback. But like I said, the FOMC, just the news today. Usually before that, you're pretty choppy. So today was not ideal conditions for trades. And I'll just kind of show you. Yeah, they really pumped it after hours here. Here's the futures. You can see this is what I was looking at when I took my trades today. Took my short here after this candle, and you can see my stop. Put a risk reward on here. My stop was up here. Entry. So I ended up getting around like a 1-to-1. Could have taken some off, even like 1.5-to-1 here. I was aiming for this pre-market low level. We just missed it, and then they ripped it up. I just said the hell with it and closed it out. And you can see my other trade here. This 15 was sloping up. Took the long here after this green candle. Almost stopped out here, and did end up stopping out here. So yeah, you can see they're just taking stops out all over the place today. Very choppy, not good conditions. So after those two trades, that was it for me. And it was after 1 p.m. at this point, so that's my cutoff. So my rules are, trading only from 9:30 to 1 p.m. at the latest for entries, and then 3 trades max per day for me. Because I've been really my whole career as a trader, a lot of my biggest faults are just over trading, oversizing. So sizing wise, using 3 or 4 micros max right now with these accounts, and not trying to push it, and just kind of sizing based on the conditions. That's really the biggest factor, is making sure that you're aligned with the conditions and the bigger picture, on the daily chart and the levels and all that. So yeah, today was very choppy, and I'm glad to come out of it with very, very minor red day today. So nothing major, still alive. I mean, that's the name of the game, is just staying alive and not getting caught up in these choppy days. Because in the past, I'd be chasing this all over the place. So once you get to the point of not needing to try to catch every move, not trying to revenge trade when you take a loss in bad conditions, just wait for the good conditions, and you might have to wait a day or two before that happens. But sizing accordingly, based on the conditions, based on the EMAs and the levels, how price is moving. Today I was using very small size, so that helped me to keep the losing day very small. So overall, I'm okay with it. Looks like tomorrow we're going to be gapping up pretty high here, so it'll be interesting to see how tomorrow goes. And I will be back on tomorrow after the market closes to do another recap. All right, see ya.